Okay, I'm going to take a look at the credit card settings and how you can use them. So we're going to go to Cart, Manager, and Credit Card Settings. And here we can see that credit card payments are inactive, which means we can't accept credit card payments and can't set up vendors with credit cards. So the first thing we're going to do is enter the bank account. This is the bank account for the PTA. And here you can see the information that they're looking for, the routing number and the account number. Click register. And next we need to fill in the merchant information. So we'll enter the tax ID number, the authorized name. And as you notice, as I'm filling in these, there's the information to the right, which tells you exactly what should be filled in on each field. So and now we can see that our information has been set up. Let's go ahead and turn this to closed. And actually, let's go ahead and make this open. Next, let's go ahead and set up a vendor. And you can see since we've turned on credit cards here, it's starting to give us the logos here at the bottom. But let's go ahead to the manager menu for activities, and we have the vendor tab. And you can see you've got a couple of vendors already set up. Let's go ahead and add one more. And we'll go ahead and add. And you can see, you can't quite see, but they're now on the list. You can see here on the list that the school PTA is actually part of the vendor list, and they can be listed as a vendor to accept credit card payments. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the email that came in that went to the vendor. So the vendor sees this email, which is part of the message that you can configure, and then this is the part that they're sent. So they are requested to click here to set their password. So then they just pick a password and continue. And the first thing that the vendor is going to see, or any new user is going to see to the system, is the terms of service. And they should read through the entire terms of service, and they can also look at the privacy policy. And then they click here to confirm, and then they can get in. Now the vendor, they can see the list of activities linked to their account, and they can set up their own bank account. So they're going to go ahead and set up the bank account. Basically, they get the same information that the PTA does. Okay, now let's go back in as the activities manager, and we're going to go ahead and assign to the spring 2012. We're going to assign to each vendor a vendor name, and we see here it's already assigned to Acme classes. Make checks payable to. Okay, now we've logged in as the user Robert Perez, and we're going to go ahead and register for some activities. So we'll do copy of spring 2012, and we're going to register for everything except exploring art here. And we'll pick Sid Perez. And fill in his information. And we'll go right ahead and view shopping cart for payment. And now you can see the shopping cart. And the interesting point here is that in orange, those can only be paid for by check. The ones in green can be paid for by check or by credit card. And it gives you some of that information down here at the bottom. And so let's go ahead and pay for the items that we can by credit card. So we'll do that first. And we already have our credit card information in here, so we're going to go ahead and use that. We could just as easily enter a new credit card, put it in here, but we'll use the existing Visa card. And it doesn't say make payment, it says schedule payment, and that's because the payment is scheduled until the PTA decides to collect it. And it tells the parent right there that we'll do that. So we'll go ahead and schedule that payment. And we see that it's been scheduled. We can view that order. Now go back to our shopping cart, and we see we still have 2 items left that need to be paid for by check. And we'll click the Pay by Check button. And we can see here that we should be making our checks payable to Acme Art Instruction, and both of these should go to the same place, which is good, but it could just as easily be 2 different places. And it's asking us to write the invoice number on the check number, which is helpful for entering payments. Also at the bottom here, which you can't quite see, you can print the invoice, and it's just the normal printed invoice that you're used to seeing. Now, let's look back at our shopping cart, and we see it's empty, but we click List Orders, and we can see 1 order and 1 scheduled. So the order is where our check payment has been made, and we can go ahead and we can cancel that. If we don't want that class anymore, we can go ahead and hit cancel, and it will take that completely off. And we'll go ahead and cancel. We'll leave that one actually. Go back to our list orders, and we'll look at the scheduled, which is our credit card payments. And we could do the same here. We can cancel, and it asks us to confirm, and we'll go ahead and cancel that class. So now it's a scheduled payment, but now it's only a scheduled payment of $89. So until you collect payments, parents can add, remove, change classes, all they want, without impacting credit card payments or refunds. Okay, now let's assume that the registration period is over and it is time to collect our credit card payments. So we're going to go to the cart, go to the manager tab, and then we've got our collect scheduled credit card payments. This will take all the payments that are ready to go and will now actually charge the parents' credit cards. And we see we've only collected 1 payment there for $89. And now we can go back and we can see on the reports, deposit reports. So let's see, go back 31 days. And so every week, all the money that has been collected once a week will be transferred into the bank accounts of all the vendors, and including the PTA if the PTA is one of the vendors. And it's kind of old data here. You can see a lot of zeros, which means it wasn't working. Okay, so I've logged back in as a vendor here, and so one thing that I didn't show you before, if we look at the activities for gym games, they can of course see their activity list and the registrations that are there. We also, if we control click on email class, it will load into your email program and will be set up to email the entire class. So now you can see that it's got all of the email addresses of all the parents for that class. It's got the subject of the name of the activity, and then they can go ahead and type their message. So that's one thing we can do there. The other thing that the vendors can now do is they can view the deposits. So here we see the vendor deposit, and again you see the same issue. I still have zeros there, which needs to be fixed. But they'll get a deposit and then an amount for that deposit, and then they'll see the details of what makes up that deposit. Now again, a deposit is made once a week into all the vendors for any credit cards you have. So that is the credit card demo. Let me know if you have any questions, and any additional ideas for features or reports or requirements. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.